What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dr. Medic channel. Unfortunately, today, October 7th, 2024, I'm bringing you some terrible news of a fatal air ambulance crash out of Northern Kentucky. Obviously, I'm not in my studio. I'm way up here in Fairbanks, Alaska, teaching an EMS refresher, so forgive the crappy audio and the crappy backdrop that I have. But stick around for a few minutes and we'll see what we can figure out, and I'll tell you what I know, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so first off, I am just going to tell you this was an Evac Lifeteam crash out of eastern and northern Kentucky, and there were 3 fatalities on board, and I do not believe there are any survivors. This was tail number November 230 Alpha Echo, which is a Bell 206 L3 model. This aircraft is kind of old. It was made in 1990. I don't think that has anything to do with the incident here. This has a Rolls-Royce or Allison, whatever you want to call it, 250C30P turbine engine. This is one of the most bulletproof turboshaft turbine engines that's ever been produced. Super safe. This aircraft can fly at about 110 knots. Yes, it's super cramped. Yes, it's probably not the best airframe to be using for air ambulance anywhere in the world, but it's what Air Evac uses the majority of their airframes anyway. And given the amount of hours that they have and the flights that they have, it is a capable aircraft, and in general, it's one of the safest aircraft in the world. Is it my favorite aircraft for air ambulance ops? No, but I don't think that has anything to do with what happened today. Anyway, they crashed at about 6 p.m. local time out there in Kentucky. There were 3 souls on board and there are no survivors. Okay, and so the information I have is that these folks had just left Lexington. They were flying due north. They were headed back to their base when they got dispatched to a scene flight in the little town of Owenton, Kentucky, which is a little bit west of their base. The weather, clear blue and 22, not a factor. They were flying along at about 1,600 feet MSL, which in the area looks to me, I can't be 100% sure, but looks to me to be about 500-600 feet above the ground, which, you know, I don't really like. I mean, it seems like it's flying a little bit low, especially in the area, but again, I don't think it really was a factor when you kind of see what might have happened in this crash. Altitude is always your friend. You should probably be flying higher than that, but they were flying at 500-600 feet at about 100 knots flying southwest. And so as we get into the ADS-B data, we can look at over here at the map showing what they've done today. This is going to show Zulu times, but you know, their previous leg, they flew around several times today and ended up at Lexington. Looks like they were at Lexington for quite a while when they were dispatched, or at least when they left to go home. Everything was going fine as they were flying along, headed home, and just north of their base, or maybe while they got close to their base, they got dispatched to this call over here in Owenton. So they did fly past their base a little bit. They were probably getting coordinates, probably getting information for the call. And so when they had the time, they plugged all that data in, and then they made a southwesterly turn and headed towards Owenton. As you track along their flight, I mean, you can see they're flying at about 100 knots. They're flying at 1,600 feet. Again, it looks like the elevation around here is about 900 to 1,000 feet. So maybe they are flying at, you know, 500, 600, 700 feet above the ground. You don't really see any issues. Yes, their ADS-B data kind of goes in and out, but they're flying in it amongst the hills, and so, you know, it's probably just not making great communications with the antennas, because you can see that it picks up right here again. They're flying 110 knots, 1,600 feet, and then the ADS-B data just kind of cuts out. And so if you jump over to Google Maps, and we can kind of see a better picture of where they are, you can see where their base is here. You can see Lexington is down here to their south, and then obviously Cincinnati is up there to their north. And you can see Owenton over here to the southwest. But here's the deal. So over here on Facebook, you can see, well, not that one. This is their Facebook page for what a beautiful picture, man. It's so sad to look at that. But you can see this guy right here is filming on the back of this restaurant. And so this restaurant is called Amigo, I believe. And as you kind of zoom in here to this town, you can see Amigo Owenton. And so the footage that you're about to see, it seems like it's on the back right of this particular restaurant, and is kind of looking to the northeast through this kind of field right here. And so as you look at it, you can see, I'm not going to play the video because it's there's nothing really in the video other than watching these people walk around. But the aircraft obviously went down just over this hill. You can see some public safety officials walking around. The yellow tape is already up. And you can see a football field or baseball field. You can see the lights that are in the background. But unfortunately, and I hate to say this, the thing that really stands out to me is this giant radio tower that is obviously right next to them. And this guy even took a specific picture of that radio tower, and you can see that it's got at least 2 or 3 sets of guy wires that are coming off of it. And so again, if we jump over here to the Google Maps and kind of zoom out a little bit, we can see the football stadium over here. And from like I said, the information I have is they were dispatched to a scene flight and were on final to this football field. That they had already called their final. They had already done at least one reconnaissance flight and were on their final approach to this landing. Now, again, this happened at about 6 p.m. and that sun is a terrible sun at about 6 p.m. And as we zoom in, look where this radio tower is in relation to this baseball field and this football field. And so can I say categorically that they hit a guy wire? I can't, but I can say that the information that I have is that they were attempting to land at this football field and had a catastrophic crash that killed all the souls on board. And so if it was a guy wire thing, obviously there's a big discussion in there about landing zone safety and communication. But I'm not going to jump to that conclusion right now, other than to tell you that there's a giant radio tower directly in the path of this aircraft's final approach to its landing zone. And it absolutely breaks my heart to know that, or to think that these 3 beautiful souls would have lost their life today. You know, for something like that, for something that preventable. I will tell you, I don't get too editorial on this channel and I don't get too emotional, but I'll tell you right now, I'm tired of seeing this happen to our colleagues and to our friends. Every flight paramedic, every pilot, every flight nurse that exists in the United States. These are beautiful, beautiful people. They are people that could be and should be making more money doing something else. They could make a lot more money doing something else. They could go sell Fords or Toyotas and make 2 or 3 times the amount of money that they make. They could probably work at fire departments and other ground EMS services. The nurses could certainly work in ICUs and ERs and probably make significantly more money. But they do this because they love it. They do it because they love it. So the pilots do it because they love it. They love to help people. They love to save people's lives. And I'm absolutely heartbroken to know that 3 more beautiful souls were lost today who have given so much of their life to help others. So that's all the information that I have for now. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers for sure, especially their family members, their colleagues, all the people that work with them in this area. Everybody knows everybody out there. These people are a big part of the rural healthcare communities across the entire United States. There's a time to be angry, and there's a time to be pissed off, and there's a time to try to solve problems and prevent these things from happening. I don't know if right now is that time, other than to try to honor these 3 beautiful people and respect their families and remember the amazing things that they did with their career for others, selflessly and not for themselves. So that's all I've got for now. We'll see you guys in the next one.